Hello, welcome to the conversation where we are four men who talk about things that we sometimes think about, don't always say. And we have plenty to say. The gang is all here. Greg Kirkland.
What's going on?
Jamarcus Smith.
Let's get it.
Jeff Fauntleroy.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Everybody good? Everybody had a good week?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man.
Yeah, man.
Busy as always, but you know how it goes.
We're good. Look, we've got a lot to say today, so let's jump right into it. And we get a lot of people saying they want to get to know more about us. So I have a question for all of you.
Okay.
If you could have dinner with any two famous people, who would it be? Greg?
Barack and Michelle Obama.
Ooh.
Okay. That's
Wow.
good.
That's my two.
DeMarcus?
Me and my wife said the same thing. Barack and Michelle, but personally, Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
That's
wow.
my guy right there.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Well, hopefully we'll have a good steak, but I would like to sit and talk with Howard Thurman and Mr. Warren Buffett.
Wow.
I think that would be a very interesting conversation.
Yes, sir.
Two great thinkers, a mystic and a billionaire.
Okay.
And I think they could add a lot of knowledge to me.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna have to go to the entertainment industry with Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington.
Oh, wow.
sir.
I think it'd just be a great
Yes, sir.
conversation.
Oh,
I can
wow.
learn a lot from them,
Absolutely.
so.
Two masters.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. You ready to get the conversation started?
Yeah, let's go,
All right,
man.
look, let's jump into it. We talk about leadership in our culture and what we're going in the future. Who do you all see as future leaders for us? You know, you talk about Stacey Abrams. We know Stacey Abrams is out there a lot with campaign reform
Yeah,
and voting acts. Van Jones, a CNN commentator, who you see him talking about a lot of stuff. Again,
You calling him a leader?
again, he is a leader. Now, again, where he
talker.
lands is debatable. But again,
that's true.
He's out there in the public eye.
Yeah.
And somebody I kind of follow up as Melanie Campbell in Washington, D.C., really promoting civic engagement.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Who do you all see as our leaders right now and going into the future?
Well, you just said what I'm thinking. I don't believe it's any one person. I mean, when you go back to the civil rights movement, you had Martin Luther King because he was the assumed spokesperson.
Right.
But behind the scenes, you had Ralph Abernathy, you had Y.T. Walker. For instance, when one of the things when he was in Birmingham jail, you know, Y.T. Walker is bringing brown bag lunches in, but yet he's writing down stuff. Martin Luther King's writing down stuff on the brown paper bags.
Wow.
And
Wow.
he's taking that to the next thing
Wow.
for the movement.
Wow.
So, and then you had Mahalia Jackson.
Absolutely.
You had Aretha Franklin, C.L. Franklin,
Sure.
and all of those. They were funding the movement.
Okay.
So now you've got people on multiple levels because you're talking about health, you're talking about going green, you're talking about environmental issues, you're talking about racism, you're talking about politics. So I think that we need to focus on those people in those areas that are leading us to a better life in those areas and not focus on one person, because look what happened to our leaders when it was one person.
Sure.
Gotcha.
For sure.
DeMarcus?
And I've actually, there are a lot of great people out there, my age, older, but I've had my eye on the younger generation really heavy.
Yeah.
And so you've got names like a young man by the name of King Nye.
Yeah.
You've got a young, this kid is about to be a millionaire in the clothing industry, Trey Brown.
Yeah.
He has Spurgo, Marley Diaz, Marseille Martin, who's an actress, producer, and even a young lady that I've had the honor and privilege of meeting, I'm talking about kindergarten, named Jalea Webb. All of these younger students have had access, way more access than we've had.
Yeah.
So you've got them sitting with the greats, learning from the greats and actually applying it now at their youth. So, I mean, the future is bright if they stay in their space or their arena, or they continue to grow and expound in it. So I believe, like, just watching that generation right now, man, I believe we're in great hands.
I agree real quick. If I could throw this in, you mentioned about these young people. I'm wearing a shoe from a young kid that wants to do some activism.
Nice.
A young brother, 16
it.
years old, Enzo Footwear.
Wow.
There it is.
I'm wearing it right now.
Nice.
And I want to support that because this young man, 16 years old, doing some
Wow.
dynamic things out there.
Wow.
So that's what I mean by that
I love
multiple,
it.
Gotcha.
multiple things.
Greg?
You know, I think that from my aspect of it, you know, if I had to think of a leader aside from as what you spoke of, those who we talk about in previous years of like the Dr. King and the Malcolm X who actually had the platform to stand up and speak on our behalf, I don't necessarily see that, but what I do see is, for example, like from a social media standpoint, I love to follow people like D.L. Hughley, and I love Sean King, and even Killer Mike, and people like that. But from an entertainment standpoint, I think about people like Issa Rae, you know, who use their platform to bring awareness in an entertaining way.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like the underlying tones of some of the episodes and some of the shows and the clothing lines that they wear and things of that sort that just bring awareness to the struggle of us as Black people. So I appreciate platforms like Blackish, you know, things of that sort that tell our story in a way that America can sit and watch it.
Absolutely.
And see what's happening to bring awareness to it.
From different sides too. I want to see both sides.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think your point is very good because how the message is getting out is much different than it was back in Dr. King's day. And you mentioned the social media piece. That is such a huge part of our culture now. And it's all about followers. So the leaders now, you have to have that following.
Absolutely.
You have to have a platform that people resonate with. So again, you talk about Issa Rae, some of those, and a lot of the shows, you look at some of the shows that are on cable TV, The Shy. There are messages in those shows you know, you can draw from.
Bring awareness to the struggle of what we have.
Absolutely. One of the people I listen to his blogs a lot, Charlemagne the God. You know, he talks to entertainers a lot. But if you look at some of the things that he looks at, he's looking at how, you know, income disparity and those types of things. So again, when we look at leadership, I think you're right. It's not just marching, because that's not going to do it. But it's, you know, what message is getting out. So let me ask this question: what do you think the biggest message is that our leaders in any arena need to get out? What is it for our people? What is that message that we need to kind of come towards? Is it prison reform? Is it economy? Is it unity? What is there one overarching thing? I know there are a lot of things to work on, but what would be that one major thing that you could see that we need to kind of look at?
Wow, you just said some of the major things.
Absolutely.
I think for me, one of the biggest things we need to really look at is environmental issues.
Okay.
Because without a clean environment, we're all going to die early anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a revelation.
I think I would say what I believe is them pointing to the person, being unapologetically themselves, because it starts with you as a person, and whatever's inside of you, whatever dream, whatever goal, whatever design, idea that you have, if you're not confident in it, if you're not bold enough to do and go against tradition and really push what it is, I believe pushing, like when you brought up Issa Rae, even when you think about Pinky Cole, man, they went totally against the grain, common thing. But because they were bold enough to put themselves out there, man, they speak in volumes to audiences and people that were afraid to even get that out. You know what I'm saying? So I believe focusing on the individual, the person that you're talking directly through that screen, man.
And I think economic empowerment, you know, is so important as a people and as a culture in learning how to support one another. You know, if there's one thing that we could grow on as a people is support. If we could learn to support our own businesses and our own, and that works twofold, because now this could take us down a different pathway, but you know, at the same time, when you support us, we got to make sure that we are providing quality service. So I get it.
That's what I was going to say. I ain't going to support you just because.
Exactly, and I totally agree with that. But if we could get to a point where we can learn the balance of the two,
Right.
You know, I'm going to provide you with a professional service that you can get from me, and a quality service like you can get from somebody else. So come see about me.
And I'm going to give you the same level of grace that I would with somebody else.
Exactly. But don't come looking for a hookup. Don't come looking for, you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Support me in the way, if we could learn to do that and have economic empowerment within one another, you know, and we know from a spiritual aspect of it that the Bible says money answers all things. So with that, if we could learn that as a community, that if we put our dollars,
for sure,
you know, and our money into practice, it'll
Absolutely.
Really
And I think one of the things that bothers me is you get leaders that are trying to do their best to, in whatever arena they specialize in, and we seem to have a pocket of people who look for the flaws
Yeah.
in the leaders.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
as if we all don't have the flaws,
Absolutely.
no
Yeah, see,
matter what that
that's
flaw
big,
is.
Ron.
But, you know, but you're trying to, you know, you have a leader that's trying to bring us up. And then you got
Absolutely.
people, well, let me point out this flaw. It happens all over.
Yeah.
And as we go back to the social media conversation, that's this cancel culture
Yeah.
that we have now embraced and adopted. Everything is cancel culture. So
Yeah.
you know, everybody has to have a vice. You know, how dare you tell me about myself and how to make myself better when, you know, I know you ain't always, you know. And
Absolutely.
so what happens is you have the people that pick apart the leader and they pick apart the person that has the platform because they'd rather show their flaws and their downfalls so that you don't, you know, you can't tell me what to do
That's right.
because of what you got going on.
Well, see, that's the difference now. Before, you had more support and more respect, I think, for the person.
Right.
And that's a good point that you bring up, because sometimes the message gets messed up because we focus so much on the
person.
messenger.
Absolutely.
You understand? And then we
Absolutely.
focus on that, and then the message
Absolutely.
gets blurred.
Absolutely.
And then other people on the other side exploit it.
Absolutely.
Because once they see us talking about that person, that gives them the green light
That's
to
great.
go in and
Absolutely.
say, well, they own
That's
don't
great.
like them.
Look at this.
So
Yeah.
so we've got to be respectful, and we got to teach that.
That's great.
But because of this cancel culture and
sir.
social media is being so easily to sit behind a computer and spew out hate and
Oh,
disrespect.
man. Oh, man.
So, you know, we've got to do our best in talking up those who are promoting those things that we want to see happen.
Absolutely. All right.
Absolutely.
We got to move on to something. And again, this next topic, we ready to debate now?
Yeah.
Oh,
All
we
right.
weren't debating again?
We were talking.
You make
We're
me
going to
nervous.
debate
Okay.
now.
Okay.
And we've got a good one. Let's talk about racism
Oh, Lord.
in America, okay?
Oh, Lord.
Are we better off than we were in the civil rights era? You know, if so, how? And what are some other cultures afraid of with us? And what do we need to do with the people? So racism. I heard Mitch McConnell talking about reparations a couple of years ago, saying that he didn't agree with reparations because none of the people that were responsible for slavery are still alive today.
man.
Which again, we'll give you that. That's just common.
No,
you know, that's just,
no,
that's just,
I don't agree with that.
No, he means literally alive. Nobody's physically alive.
They all-
Okay,
they all
okay.
go.
Yeah, nobody's physically alive. They're all gone.
Amazing.
Again, the ideology and the rules and all of that are still active.
I disagree with that too.
And
now
so,
I did the math.
again, well, if you know somebody who owns slaves and they're still living,
Well,
invite them on the show.
I'm just saying.
So
that we
let's
know
talk
of.
about it. Racism. Greg, you lead us off. What do you think?
You know, to be honest with you, my thought process is that the more things change, the more they stay the same. And it's unfortunate to say that I think that we have made great advancement as a people, but in reality, as we have been able to see within the last, 4 to 5 years, the root has exposed itself once again. That a lot of the ideologies, a lot of the thoughts toward people of color, not just black people, but people of color, have shown themselves again. And in certain instances, the words that they use in our grandparents' day are being used still.
Yeah.
The tactics that were used in our grandparents' day are being used still.
Yeah.
The way they policed our grandparents, they're policing us still.
Yeah.
So the question is, have we arrived to the point of realizing that racism still exists?
Wow. So, all right, we talk about racism. So me, I'm big with words.
Yes, sir.
So what does the word mean? Prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against a person or people based on their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. It's learned behavior that manifests itself through what I call, or what's known as epigenetics. Okay, so through epigenetics, in other words, how a person is raised, your environment. That's why I say it's still alive, because it's in the genetic makeup. In studying the human genome, it's in the actual makeup of a person. If you come from a household who says that stay away from black people, they're no good, that, you know, black people this, they always doing this, they always doing that, it's ingrained in you that that's what happens. And you don't even know it.
Wow.
You're hearing this from infancy.
Wow.
So there's something around your DNA, the epi, where it goes around it, and it tells the DNA how to respond.
Wow.
So now you have somebody who is against black people or marginalized people, and really they don't even know. It's just what they learn. It's a learned behavior. And then what happens is we don't have pride in who we are as black people because it's ingrained in us through something that's called post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Wow.
That we don't get help with. Because it's been ingrained in us over the years through our parents that we're nobody, we're less than. So that's in us. So there's things that we've got to get out of us. That's why therapy is a good thing. And it's okay to be proud to be black. Listen, Italians talk about their heritage.
Absolutely.
With no problem.
Absolutely.
People of Hispanic nature talk about it with no problem. Irish talk about, we want to talk about Africa, but we think, oh, Africa's this, Africa's that. I'm not from Africa. Listen, I come from Africa and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm all right. I love being black. I am 100% pro-black, but I'm not anti-white. And that's where we have to make people understand and educate. I'm okay being with my people.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm not all right being with you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so bring
So
that
it's a
to
culture
now.
thing.
Bring that to now about racism now. You gave us a good history lesson.
Okay.
So now bring it to
okay.
Bring it to now.
Does it exist? Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But it exists in different levels. It's on the board level now. It's in politics. It's in legislation. It's coded.
So where have we? Let me ask this question, DeMarcus. Where have we made progress? From your, where do you think? Where have we made progress?
Honestly,
That's a scary question.
it is. Honestly,
Wow.
I believe there's been progress, but there hasn't been. And I say that because even when you think about just the concept of racism and what these gentlemen have talked about, the good part is we know that we've made advancements. The also great part about it is it's more exposed than it's ever been before because people have cameras. People are from older generations to students recording in classrooms.
Right.
Yeah.
Recording, things that are happening between police officers and people going into stores, et cetera. So the exposure is there. That's a great advancement because now it's on display.
Absolutely.
The world gets to see it.
Yeah.
We haven't made an advancement because we're still numb to it. And we still, it's a height awareness and everybody's just amped up for a day, 2 days, a week.
Yeah.
And then the numbness comes in and we just kind of move on. I think today, man, we made, it's like taking 5 steps forward and then an incident happens and we get punched 10 steps back. And we've got to keep restarting and reinventing, ways to attack it or bring recognition to it. But even to your part, racism, the idea, has even advanced.
Yeah.
Because it's more than just a word. It's more than just physical.
It's emotion.
It's been engraved in society, in systems. And I mean, and it's not, this is the sad part, it's not always necessarily a white on black.
Right.
Because even for the black community, we can be our own worst enemy.
Oh, it's classism.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
Classism is in there.
And I think one of the things, Donald Trump doesn't know that he helped make us more aware, but he did by the divisiveness that he created.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think before that, we kind of got lulled to sleep.
Yeah.
Because you didn't see people marching in mass numbers like they did against black lives, black movements and different things. Right. Talking about all the different advancements. They were not openly marching against that.
Right.
Right. After he get in office, now again, people feel real comfortable.
Right.
Oh yeah, he
Oh,
empowered.
yeah.
He
You know,
empowered
yeah, absolutely.
people to not hide anymore.
So what it did was it made it, so we thought it was kind of gone or better because we didn't hear people saying
But
the
they exposed
N-word and all that.
Yeah.
But it was still there. It was,
Absolutely.
and I think it's worse when it's hidden because if you don't know something is there, you kind of, like you said, you get a meal, you think, okay, I'm
Yeah.
relaxed. Okay,
Sure.
they don't call me the N-word, so I'm good when I walk in this room.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you don't know what's working behind the scenes.
Right.
And see, even to that point, Ron, it goes back to what we were talking about with the conversation about leaders. You know, who are our modern day leaders? In my opinion, you're right. So with a president like President Trump, he exposed it, which raised an awareness and woke up. Now they use the terminology "stay woke," right? They say "stay woke," but I think that it woke up a lot of people because I always use as an example. My daughters are 15 and 16, right? When my daughters came into the world, there was a black president, right? Not long after they came into the world, 2 or 3 years after they came into the world, so all they knew was a black president.
Right.
They knew black athletes and
Right.
black entertainers, and so they see black people living well and
Right.
in great subdivisions and
Right.
driving nice cars, and so to an extent they came into this world not having or understanding the struggle of them before them because they saw the arrival.
Yeah.
You see? So now
That's
with a
good.
president like Donald Trump who exposed racism, it woke up a generation that now is able to see things are really similar to the way they were back in the day.
But you bring up a good point.
Yeah.
Even our children, because same scenario for my children, my youngest son born, right before that. So he's only a few years old when President
Exactly.
Obama came in office.
Right.
But even still, he's a teenager now.
Right.
He still has not had the experience.
Exactly.
So to him,
Yeah.
Everything is still
everything is still
Right.
Nothing in his life economically has changed. So
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
to your point, you don't see that, and by the time they see it, it's like,
unfortunately,
where did
it has
this?
smacked them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where did this
Well,
come
no.
from? I'm not used to this.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So a good point is education. We've got to educate our children and make sure we can't depend on everybody else to teach them. That's one of and both of you bring up a great point because my children are grown now, but they did experience that. But early on, they went to Martin Luther King School, so they got Black history.
Got it.
And then they got it at home too, because I taught them about their history so that they would know what they come from.
Sure.
And then we moved to Florida and we moved to an area when they went to a high school and it was boom.
Wow.
So they understood it,
Yeah.
but they understood what it was and they understood how to react to it because they knew that they were better than that.
Wow.
So they realized that the person who were calling them names and saying the things that they were saying was less than.
Wow.
So, but the other part of that was they grew up in a kind of better, a good neighborhood.
Sure.
So they didn't see that kind of struggle.
Absolutely.
But yet they had friends that we exposed them to. The other part of that was, like even now, growing up, it was a United Nations of friendship with them. Their friends were, because I never taught hate. Even though I'm teaching who
Love,
you are,
self-love.
I'm teaching you where you come from.
Right.
And that's no better than anybody else, but you are a good person.
Got it.
Come on.
And so now they've got Hispanic friends. They got friends from all across. I ask sometimes, where are you from again? I had to look on the map because they got friends from everywhere. So at my house, it's the United Nations.
So Jeff, I just wanted to make sure I'm clear on something. You actually taught your children Black history beyond February?
Oh, yes, sir. Every day was Black History.
I wasn't sure.
That month.
Okay.
Oh, yes,
okay.
sir.
Beyond
Yes, sir.
February? It was,
Yes, sir.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
All right, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I've heard you gentlemen say, your kids weren't exposed or affected by it ahead of time. Like I have a completely different shift. My son was hit with his first experience of racism in first grade.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And so even though it may not be the idea of racism that we've experienced or we expect, my son experienced it through a teacher.
Yeah.
In first grade,
Yeah.
in a private school.
Yeah.
And the only way we found it out was we were getting the phone calls like, man, he's disruptive, he's doing all of this. And we like, if you met my oldest son,
Sure.
everybody be like, what?
Yeah.
Because he's quiet, he's well-mannered,
Wow.
he
Yeah.
taught himself, we
Yeah.
empowered him
Yeah.
and continue to empower him from himself, right?
Sure.
But the only reason we knew that he was hit with it was because we had the opportunity to actually go and view it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so standing there, you're watching all the different kids, no matter what color they were, but he was the spot.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there writing stuff down, I'm recording.
Yeah.
And so I meet with the headmaster, the person of the school, and I'm just like, so tell me how a kid who everybody around here says well-mannered, very respectful, is just this disruptive student.
Wow.
And it just wound up weeding out into the teacher having an opinion because he was far advanced.
Wow.
And so as a dad, now I have to explain this huge topic and idea, introduce you to something that you didn't need to be introduced to in the first place,
Right.
and now start to explain and
What it
teach.
is.
Yeah.
Because even where he was, Black History Month is only Martin Luther King
Yeah.
Right.
and Rosa Parks
Absolutely.
and Barack Obama. That was
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
So now to push him deeper into understanding identity, not just the greats, but understanding the why behind
Sure.
why it's harder for you to, why you have to work a little harder, why you got to grind a little harder, why you got to outthink a little harder, you know, why you have to be passionate more, why you can't hide. Like, I have to teach from that idea because like we said earlier, racism just hits so different now
Sure.
that it's like, man, I've got to prepare you as best I can.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you still got to experience
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
then be a critical thinker
Absolutely.
out there and think because you just don't know the response that you get.
Absolutely.
Question. Let me ask this question. What do you think, and we'll go with white people. What do you think they're afraid of? Just in all honesty, what are they afraid of from us? What's the fear of us advancing? What do you think? And I mean in a genuine way, what do you think the fear is? Really?
I personally feel like everything, I think that we are magic.
Come on now.
You know, I think
on
that
now.
we are magic. And I can't think of the actor's name who made that statement. He said, Black people are magic. And I think that because of that, everything that we do, cream rises to the top.
Mm-hmm.
So in every area, whether it be, again, sports, entertainment, now politics, business, you understand?
Yeah.
Every area, we are able to rise to the top.
Yeah.
We're able to take the hand that we're dealt, deal with the bruises and being battered and being scorned and being talked about, and we rise to the top.
Yeah.
And I think that the fear is that everything that we do, we excel.
Got you.
Well,
that's
you
good.
know,
That's good.
That is so true. And I think it's a frustration. Just think about it. If you're taught something all of your life and you're taught that you're superior, you're taught that you're supposed to just get it because of who you are, because of what your color is, because of what your race is, from where you come from, and they don't get it. They don't understand it. They're not up to your par. And then all of a sudden you see people of color excelling in every measure of life.
Sure.
It's a frustration because, and you don't even know, here's where the frustration comes in. You're upset and you don't even know why you're upset.
Wow.
Because really, this is your friend. This is your friend.
Yeah.
You guys hang out together, you guys go to eat, but he gets the advancement and you don't.
Wow.
And you're messed up because in your head, I'm supposed to be on top of this person.
Wow.
Why? Because it's been ingrained in you
Wow.
all throughout your life.
So are you saying
So
it's not so that wouldn't be a fear, that would be a jealousy then?
No, I think I'm saying that it's education and it's the conversation that has to take place. Like, hey man, why are you upset with me? Like you're asking, why are you upset with me? What? Let's talk.
What are you afraid of?
Let's talk. What are you afraid of? Wow. Why do you fear me? Why do you fear me? I mean, listen, when I was just at the doctor's office and there were two older ladies getting in the elevator. And I felt like, you know what? If I get on this elevator, they're going to be so uncomfortable. I got to go to the fourth floor.
Absolutely.
I don't know where they're going.
Absolutely.
I'm not even going to put them through it. Go ahead, man. Why should I feel like that? Because I'm the big black guy with these two elderly white ladies.
Absolutely.
And you know, maybe I'm racist for even
Sure,
thinking that.
sure.
They could be like, okay, come on. I know I'm gonna be okay. But that's still what's going on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Final thought,
It's
Greg.
just a fear of. I think it is a level of upbringing and just a fear of what has been ingrained in their mind of being afraid of something different. Very quick story. I don't know if y'all ever heard this story about the entertainer who got onto the elevator one day, and there was an older white woman that was on the elevator. When him and his entourage got on, she immediately clutched her purse. And when she clutched her purse, you know, he says, hit the floor. Well, what he meant was, press the floor number that I'm going to. He pressed the number. So fast forward.
I heard that
week later,
story. It
you
was
heard the
Lionel
story?
Richie.
I heard it with Eddie Murphy.
That was Lionel Richie. Look, we could talk about racism all day long. We got a lot going on. Again, the point of that story, you never know who you're on the elevator
You
with.
never know.
Again,
You never know.
Look, thanks to three of you all for joining me again for this show.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for joining us. Look, join us next time because we got a lot more to talk about. So we'll see you next time for the conversation. Take care.